it off for a while. So I'm not really. And inspiration is, I like to do self-help, I like to read self-help, but I'm not really, self-help's not really my thing. I mean, I don't know about, that's something I'm gonna have to work on. But, so today I thought I would do kind of a goals workshop, where we kind of work on setting goals together. So welcome, guests. Well, we don't have any guests, but new member and fellow Toastmates. So I guess the bottom line today is that I'd like you to fill out that worksheet, and I'll work with you to kind of fill that out, and then set a goal or multiple goals, and then I'm going to come back in 3 months and see if like the ideas that I discuss in the worksheet are effective. So let's begin. I put, don't forget C.S. Lewis. I got a good quote from Lewis. Greg likes quotes. So I don't know if he likes quotes or not. So C.S. Lewis said, "You are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream." And that's a particularly good quote for C.S. Lewis because he wrote The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and the whole Chronicles of Narnia series. And he wrote a bunch of other good stuff, both fiction and nonfiction. And of course, his stuff is still widely read today, and he's even making like the 3rd movie in the series. So but the interesting thing is that he became a famous author. He didn't become a famous author until he was in his 40s. So he lived most of his life as a kind of a quiet, well, somewhat quiet professor at Oxford. But he kind of kept at it, and he finally achieved his goals of becoming a famous, great author, late in life. So the lesson is to, never give up on your goals and keep at it. Don't give up on your dreams. You never know when things will break for you. So, keep trying to improve yourself. So the purpose of this workshop is kind of to effectively set and achieve goals, and hopefully this will help us kind of clarify goals and kind of understand the role that values have when you're setting and trying to strive to achieve a goal or dream that you might have. So first of all, and you can fill out the worksheet however you like, but I'm just going to give you some ideas to work with. So I would define a goal as simply a task that you would like to achieve, just to define it broadly. Now there are of course empowering goals, and my wife gives me a to-do list. Those are goals too, but they're not really necessarily self-improvement goals. But we all have like more inspiring goals, like maybe like learning a language or writing a book or something like that. So why do we set goals? I just have 3 examples of why we set goals. So goals tend to give our lives purpose and direction, and kind of give a coherence to our life. So you could say kind of give our lives purpose. And number 2, goals are kind of a form of self-improvement or empowerment. As we begin to achieve goals, we become stronger as people. We build, we gain momentum, and as we start achieving goals, we set higher ones. And then thirdly, achieving goals leads to success. Success is not the primary source of happiness. I think values are the primary source of happiness, but success, of course, plays a role in making us happy. So we achieve goals to achieve success. Now, I think it's important to distinguish between goals and values. So I define a value as kind of a belief that we live by, a belief kind of that we live in accordance with. And values are important because values are kind of how we feel about achieving goals. You can achieve goals and then be kind of empty inside. I always think of Richard Nixon, who achieved, he was a brilliant politician, and he achieved all these goals, and he became president of the United States, but he was always miserable inside. He could never find happiness. He was always unfulfilled for some reason. So I think he's a good example of someone who achieved his goals and was kind of seemed to be a kind of a miserable, conflicted person. That's what led to his kind of self-destruction as president. So number two, so it's kind of how so values are important because it's how we feel about achieving the goals. Number two, I kind of stated this already, but living according to values is kind of our true source of joy. When we all have kind of deeply ingrained values, and when we live in accordance with them, we tend to be happy. When we conflict with those values, that's when, we become kind of tortured on the inside and become miserable, I think. And then thirdly, values inspire us to achieve goals. Values can kind of give us the leverage we need if we kind of use our imagination and creativity and energy to kind of link our values with our goals. That gives us kind of the energy to take action and follow through with our goals. So I'd like you to, on the second page, I have a little box where I'll give you maybe like 30 seconds to maybe write down a goal or an idea for a goal, and then you can kind of think about that. You don't have to come up with the perfect goal right now, but just think about it in the next few days. But I'll give you 30 seconds to write down a goal, and maybe something you could share with the audience. And if you want to come back in 3 months, I'll do like a follow-up speech, and we'll see if some of this stuff works, if you apply the system. So I'll give you 30 seconds, and then while you're doing that, I'll just give you a little background. When I first started Toastmasters almost 2 years ago, I set a series of goals, and some of them I achieved, but most of them I didn't. So I got to thinking, well, why didn't I? What goals, why did I achieve some and not others? So like one goal was clearly defined, clearly measurable, give all 10 speeches in Toastmasters and fulfill all the roles. So I've done all that, and I'm doing that today with this 10th speech. But other goals were more kind of nebulous. They were kind of incoherent or weren't specific enough. So I had goals like learn Spanish and write a book, but simply stating the goal doesn't go far enough to get you there. You have to the goals that work are the ones that are more specific and precise, and where you can measure whether you succeeded or not. So that's why I kind of broke down the elements of achieving goals, and that's what this next section in the handout is. So I stated the element, and then I'll give you some definitions, but you can, elaborate on those definitions, or you come up with your own, elements for achieving goals. So number one, in order to succeed, in order to achieve your goal, the goal has to be clearly defined. So you have to know exactly what you want to achieve. Number two, it's got to be easily measurable. You have to have a standard in place so that you know when the goal has been achieved. And number three, it has to be imminent. If you have a big goal, you have to break it down and achieve it in steps or in parts. And you have to have a system of accountability built in, where you announce the goal publicly, or you work as a team on the goal to try to achieve it so that you're held accountable. And then finally, you have to have leverage. So I think that you create leverage over your goal by you connect the goal with powerful emotions or deeply ingrained values that will kind of help you follow through. So looks like I'm not going to be able to get to the. Well, no, I wanted to go over our goals, but I'll just kind of quickly run over. These are some of my examples of goals that I would like to achieve, in the next 3 months. So get into shape. I'd like to get into better shape, so I have the ineffective goals on one side and the effective goals on the other. So I'll just go over a couple of these really quick. So get into shape is not an effective goal, but an effective one is I'm going to run a 5K in 27 minutes. Now Greg's probably laughing at that because he can probably do it in 17, but that's a reasonable goal for me because that's like 3 minutes better than my previous run. So it's clearly defined. I'm held accountable because I can see the treadmill. Every day when I run, I can see my results, and then I'm going to run a 5K in the spring when it gets a little bit warmer, and then my number will be splashed over the internet, so you can see it if you want. And then, as far as you want to have leverage over your goals, so you think in terms of what will this goal get me? You know, health, it'll give me health benefits, being in shape gives you more energy and better clarity of mind, and gives you more discipline to kind of run every day, and disciplines your life. So you can just look over those, the ineffective and the effective goals on your own. So hopefully this goal setting system, hopefully you'll apply it. You can come back in 3 months and look at our success. So, thank you.
Yay! Congratulations. I really thought that was one of your best speaks.
My gosh, I did too.
That was good. That we were interested in. Please continue to fill out your evaluation sheets for Jim. Let him know how you did. Give you about 30 more seconds for that. Rod, can you turn that off for just a minute?